YouTube, what's going on? Appreciate y'all watching my videos. What's going on? What's going on? What's going on? So Trump won. So what now? So Trump won. So what are y'all gonna do now? Now that Trump is gonna be the new president. President Biden and Kamala Harris, they're gonna finish out these last few months. So what does that mean going forward for the next 4 years under Trump? What does that mean? Does anything change? Bitcoin gonna be falling from the sky? money gonna be falling from the sky? Millions of dollars? Me personally, I don't think anything is gonna change. That's just me personally. So that's just my personal thing with that. Because, you know, going back, I don't know, maybe going back, let's go back. I'm thinking all the way back to when I was a teenager, when I was aware of our government, you know, and how it works and stuff like that. Maybe since middle school, maybe high school, where I was becoming aware of government and how that impacts our day to day. And so I'm trying to think, like, does it really, I mean, to be honest, does it really matter who's in office? I mean, I'm just keeping it 100 with you. Does it really matter? I mean, when Trump was president between what, 2020, right? I didn't really see a difference. Maybe the economy was just a little bit better. Maybe the economy was performing just a little bit better at that time, but it wasn't such a big of a deal that I remember. Like, I don't remember anything significant going on with the government. So I'm like, does it really matter what president that we have in office? I mean, that's, you know, so, I mean, because you got Project 2025. There's rumors of a Project 2025 going on. So, I mean, like, really? Mr. Yes, so what says it's a huge difference. Food prices, gas, everything was cheaper. J-Ball says it gets ugly before it gets better, but I believe the business moral looks better. Sheldon says there's global concern that war between Ukraine and Russia can escalate further. I think he wants to get to the end of that ASAP. Yeah, I mean, all those comments are valid concerns, and the reason why I'm making this video, because I was just sitting because I'm on my lunch break right now, so I got another few minutes here, and I wanted to make a video, and I was like, man, this be like an interesting video to me. Like, does it really matter who's, like, what president we have in office? Does it, really, when it come down to the bottom line, does it really matter what president in office? Because I can go back 20, 30 years and I can't really recall where the president in office had a large, significant impact on my life. I'm trying to think. I mean, we all gonna live, we all gonna laugh, enjoy this life, no matter what president in office. That's just kind of how I'm looking at it. And a lot of these concerns out here, for the average person, it's not really a concern. It shouldn't be a concern. So I'm gonna put it this way. So the federal government has been giving trillions and trillions and billions of dollars to other countries since before I was born, since before any of you guys are born. That's just what government does. They do what they want to do. If it was Kamala in there, Biden in there, Trump in there, Bush, I'm trying to go back, Bush, Clinton, Nixon, Roosevelt, Kennedy, Mitt Romney, all these guys, like, the president is one guy. You got all these pieces of government that make up government. So you got the Senate. Okay, these are the guys you need to be concerned about. The Senate. These are the guys who make stuff happen. The House of Representatives. These are the guys that makes things happen. Definitely the House of Representatives. The House of Representatives, these are the guys that actually fund and decide what's gonna happen. These are the guys. Between the Senate and the House, the president, I would say the president is kind of like a joker. When you're playing cards, it's like a joker. It's like that joker you can just throw down real quick. I guess like say if you had a tiebreaker, you needed a tiebreaker or something like that to flip a coin, to break a tie. But other than that, all of a sudden we got Trump in office, and I'm watching the news, social media. Everybody has this great concern over Trump getting in office. Project 2025, all his visions of a new government, a new country, border patrol. All these concerns that everybody's worried about, but Trump is just one man. And I think, to be honest, real talk, you need to be concerned about the House of Representatives and Senate. The House of Representatives and Senate is Republican, and now we got a Republican president. I think that is more of a concern than anything else. because now they have majority in government. They can pretty much get whatever they want passed. Whatever they see fit, they can get it all passed if they wanted to. That's kind of that's how I'm looking at it. So even if we did vote for it, it wouldn't even matter. It wouldn't even matter. You know? Man, I have my bank statement showing my cost of living prior to the last 4 years, and it was increased greatly. That's smart. That's smart, Sheldon. You gotta watch your expenses, count your pennies. A lot of people don't do that. Most people don't do that. Trump and Karma is still the main impact is the amount of federal jobs and money available for executive branch departments is greatly impacted. Local elections, the most important, that determines how local offices divide up federal and state funds. I agree, Herbert. I definitely agree with that. So when we talking about Trump getting into office, the president seat is an important conversation. However, you got all these other pieces of the puzzle that hold more weight than just one man president. And if you really think about it, the president really don't have that much power. You need to be concerned about the Supreme Court. You need to be concerned about the House of Representatives. You need to be concerned about the Senate. You need to be concerned about what Herbert just talked about, local elections and federal funding allocations. You want schools to be funded. You want minority neighborhoods to be funded. I mean, I'm a minority, and these are the things I'm thinking about. You know, I want our issues to get recognized. So that's kind of what I'm thinking. Somebody named Thank You. I just woke up. Who won the election? I know, right? I know. It's like, I mean, for the average working Joe that makes 60, 70, 80,000 a year, I'm just going to be honest. It really don't matter who's in office. Herbert says, right, the legislative branch is always quiet. People being there for decades. That's my point. Supreme Court justices, you know, some of those guys that sit on those seats, those are lifetime seats. And you got individuals that's in Congress and senators that been senators for their whole career. And they get to sit, and these people, they are, you know, they sit behind the curtain, and they get to play puppeteer and control everything while the president takes the beating. Y'all worrying so much about the president, you don't see the guy behind the curtain actually doing all the controlling. This guy behind the curtain, Congress, and you got United States Congress, basically tell the president what to do. The RNC tells the president what to do. I don't know if y'all know, but Trump didn't want to run. Trump didn't want to run for president. He didn't. But the RNC came to him and said, hey, man, we need you to run for president. So here we are. Trump president. You know? So it's to me, it's just something interesting to think about, you know, because I mean, I think for the most part, I think that it's not necessarily Trump himself. I think the Republicans, they're more proud of just having their party leading the country. I think that's the most important part. I don't think it's have much to do with Trump so much. I think it has so more to do with just their party having control. And they need a leader and they need a face to be that control. And that's Trump. Because it could be anybody up there. But I think for the Republicans, it's Trump at this point. And the Republicans are winning. And so they can pretty much do anything they want to do at a large scale as far as government concerned. They get whatever they want passed. Yeah, so that's kind of how I'm seeing it. Not so much Trump per se, because Trump is just an individual, but you got a lot of people involved in this. It's going to be an interesting next 4 years. Yeah, it's going to be an interesting next 4 years. We'll see. It's going to get crazy. It's going to get really crazy. But I don't think it's going to get no more crazier than it has been since. I don't think it's going to be no more crazier than it has been when Trump was in office the last time. So it's going to be your standard Trump. He's going to be in the news every single day. The media is going to be hanging on every single word. He's going to be on social media every day. It's going to be, what did Trump say today? Trump said something today. He signed this and that. And so it's going to be an interesting next 4 years. But other than that, you still got to, every day, you still got to get up and go to work. You got to punch that clock and pay your bills. That's just what it is. And everybody is running around. Everybody's running around saying that everything is expensive today is because of the Democratic the Democrats. They are spending a lot of money. And so it's because of the Democrats that we got a bunch of debt. It's because of the Democrats, this, that, and the third, when we had all this debt way long before COVID. Before COVID, I think we was at what, 31 trillion in debt already. We're like at 40 trillion in debt now. We're at 40 trillion in debt now. So, you know, we talk when we have this conversation about inflation. I don't know if anybody aware is that the reason why everything is expensive is because of COVID. Do y'all recall COVID? Do y'all don't recall COVID? I'm throwing some shade here. I'm throwing some shade here. But do y'all recall COVID? Do y'all recall? You don't recall COVID. You don't remember, right? So we're going to blame COVID on Joe Biden. We're going to blame COVID on Kamala Harris. Like, you remember the country, you remember the whole world was shut down for a year. You couldn't go outside for a year. Y'all recall? So you got to understand that the prices of goods and services out here, the prices of goods and services are not high because a president was in office. It was COVID. What do you say, 404? 404, how is it COVID? Well, what COVID got to do with eggs being $15? Hello? You recall the whole world was shut down? So what happens is people still got to eat, and bills still have to get paid. And so although a lot of people were still working, there was a group of people that wasn't working. And so the government had to react. You remember Trump sent out the first stimulus during COVID. He enacted the first stimulus during his presidency. Remember? So what are you supposed to do when you're the president and people have to pay their bills and you need something to subsidize people until they get back to work? What do you think a president's supposed to do? I'll wait. What do you think a president's supposed to do? Yes, he's supposed to send people money. He's supposed to send people money. He's supposed to send money down to the states so that people can get unemployment. PPP, you recall PPP? That's free money. The EDL loans, you forgot about those. The stimulus, the $1,400, I don't recall how many $1,400 checks we was able to get, but $1,400 checks. Remember those $1,400 checks? That was free money. Who do you think paying for it? And so, if you understand basic economics, let's talk about basic economics. And the only way that I can explain basic economics as far as like inflation is concerned is to think about some Kool-Aid. If you have like a pitcher of Kool-Aid, and then y'all made Kool-Aid before, right? You get sugar and you get the little packet of Kool-Aid, you put it in there and you shake it up and you got Kool-Aid. You know how to make Kool-Aid, right? Okay, so you know the taste of Kool-Aid depends on a good balance of sugar and a good balance of water and Kool-Aid that you put in the pitcher. If you put too much water in it, it's gonna get diluted. You put too much sugar in it, it's gonna get too sugary. You put too much Kool-Aid, it's gonna get too bitter. And so you gotta understand that's how the government works. That's how the economy works. It's this delicate balance of money and cash, work, labor, and production in the market. And so it's a delicate balance. The Federal Reserve, they have to balance this with the interest rates. That's how you balance all this out. And so you balance it out with production and cash flowing through the economy. It's a delicate balance. And so what happened was that during COVID, the country was shut down and they started sending out a bunch of free money. The same way, when you send out a bunch of money in the economy, it's the same thing as putting more water in a pitcher of Kool-Aid. If you ever made a pitcher of Kool-Aid, you add more water in it, you diluting it. When you have dollars, right? You have dollar bills, and you dump free dollar bills into the economy, right? You're diluting the buying power of the dollar. It's the same thing. And so when you go to the store, it seems like the prices went up. The prices didn't go up. It's just that the dollar doesn't have the same amount of buying power because there's too many free dollars running around. Nobody didn't work. That's why we have eggs $10, $15 right now. That's why everything appears to be high. It appears to be high. because we got so much free dollars in the market with the Dow Jones at 40,000. The Dow Jones, nobody didn't work for real. People really didn't work to get the production. The cause of the Dow Jones being 40,000 is not because people worked and we produced a lot of stuff to get the Dow Jones up to 40,000. The reason why the Dow Jones is 40,000 is because we dumped a bunch of free money and a bunch of people invested it. People bought TVs. You know, the remember when Trump sent that first stimulus check for $1,400, and then if you have kids, I think you got $2,400 or some number. It was like $800, $1,400 for married and joint, and then you got the PPP loans. Like, all that money was dumped in the market. People bought cars, TVs. Some people started businesses. All that money was put back into the businesses with no production behind it. And so, and therefore you get things that appear, you get inflation. That's just the layman's way. That's just the dumbed down way I can explain inflation. And if you don't understand what I'm saying, I don't know what else to tell you. But that's why it has nothing to do with the president in office. Nothing. And so that has nothing to do with the president in office. Because during COVID, if any of you were president, you would do the same thing. If I was president, your mama was president, everybody would have reacted the same way. So you really can't blame one or the other when the average person would have done the same thing. So to say that, oh, Kamala and Biden did this and Trump did that, it's like, well, it doesn't matter who was in office. Just good common sense. Let's just have a good common sense conversation about that. And so the title of my video is, so Trump won. So, and what? I'm like, so you still got to pay your bills. You still got to get up and go to work tomorrow. Macroeconomics. I thought I was talking about microeconomics. Macroeconomics, I thought macroeconomics is when you're talking about at a large scale, at a world, large world scale between like countries and stuff like that. Macroeconomics, it's like local. Microeconomics, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I thought microeconomics and what I was talking about, microeconomics is local issues, your state issues, national issues. And then once you start getting into macro issues are large scale issues. And so if you're talking about COVID and who's in office and the president, if you're talking about that, and we talking about shipping, and we talking about the trucking industry right now, I mean, the trucking industry is suffering from exactly what I just said. There are too many guys in the trucking industry with a truck. That's essentially what happened. There's too many guys in the trucking industry with a truck. The barrier to entry to get in the trucking industry, it's another example of diluting. The Kool-Aid is diluted. The balance of sugar and water is out of balance. And so The cost of goods and services is always going to go up. There's always going to go up. There's never going to, and so the problem is people think that things are high and one day the price of goods and services is going to go down. No. Since Nixon, I don't know if it's Nixon or the other president, but one of those presidents back in 1970 took the dollar off the gold standard because they needed a way to, when you take because for every dollar is backed by some gold. Well, if you take the dollar off the gold standard, so if you have $100, you need $100 in gold to go with it. It's kind of like having debt, you know, when you have a savings in your checking account, but you take the dollar off the gold standard. Now we can rack up as much debt as we want. We can buy what we want. And so the country in the 1970s was in a bad position, very bad financial position. They had to take the dollar off the gold standard so they can finance tanks, and the country had to finance, large scale things. And so now you can just rack up as much debt if you want. And so they took the dollar off the gold standard. And if you take the dollar off the gold standard, inflation, that's just, it's just what it is. So, everybody's talking about the president and this, that, and the third. I'm here to tell you, the proof is in the pudding. You got to educate yourself. Has nothing to do with what president is in office. I'm just going to keep it real with you. Inflation is always going to go up. It's going to continue to go up. And the best thing you can do is just stay on the cutting edge of new skills so that you can always get top income. You have good skills and you can make the best income at the time. You don't have to make millions of dollars, but man, it'd be nice to be able to make 150,000. And if you can make 150,000 and then and keep up with inflation, you don't have nothing to worry about. If you get a $10,000 raise every couple years, you can keep up with inflation. So, if you make 150,000 and you get 3, 4, 5% raises every year, and you manage your finances really well, then you'll be fine, and you don't have to worry about inflation. You just got to be intelligent and smart. You just got to be intelligent and smart with your finances. That's just what it all boils down to. All right, let me look at these comments. Hold on. Herbert Scott. Let me see. Taxes, consumer pricing, inflation at the government level is macro, but it's scalable. You're talking about American government, so it would be macro. Okay. It's been a while. It's been a while since I took economics, but I thought I was talking about microeconomics, but whatever. FMCSA delays brokers rules until 2026. Let's get Trump to move now, not 18 months. Well, it has nothing to do with Trump. That delay for FMCSA has nothing to do with Trump. It's a governmental procedure. You can't just enact things when you get ready. A study has to be conducted. They have to conduct a study. They have to investigate it. They have to look at it. They have to, things just takes time. And when you're talking about enacting a permanent thing like that, you can't just put it into place just because you want it. Just because Trump in there, that he's just one guy. It has to get voted on. You know, it has to be heard. It has to go through all these channels. All that stuff takes time. So when Trump gets into office, all the stuff that he signs and puts into place, we won't see the benefit until he get out of office. It's going to be, it takes a long time to enact a bill. It takes a long time, you know. T. Hill said, we doing a peaceful transition of power. He will be sworn in January. 404, you ever consider running for local political? No, I'm not a politician. No, I don't roll. I'm not. I'm a business guy. I'm a capitalist kind of guy. I'm a business guy. So no, I don't like government. It's too bureaucratic for me. It's just you know, you could get in the government and work 30 years, right? And you could do all these, you can be on all these committees and don't accomplish nothing. And by the time you retire, finally you accomplish like one thing. You work 30 years just to accomplish one thing. And so, nah, I'm a business guy. I'm a capitalist guy. You know, I like the mechanics of business. I like the mission, the creativity of business. I like business. You know what I mean? I'm a business guy. You know, I'm a private enterprise guy. Government, it's just so slow and bureaucratic. It's just, oh my God, I couldn't work at that level in government. At that level, no. If I get tickets, you can have mine. You don't want to go up there and watch the new president get sworn in. All that was done 10 months ago. The delay was put up by FMCSA. Right, because they're a government agency. That's what they do, man. They didn't want to sign it because they wanted time to evaluate it. That's as simple as that. That's what government do. They take their time and they drag their feet on stuff. That's government. You can spend 30 years dragging your feet on some stuff. That's just how it is. I'm just gonna tell you, when it comes to government, don't get in a hurry. Do not get in a hurry when it comes to government. Do not get in a hurry. You're not gonna get anything done the way that you wanted to get done. So just go ahead and have a seat, take a number, and have a seat. You'll be sitting there for 4 years waiting on stuff to get done if you hold your breath for government. Waiting on government to get stuff done. And that's what I'm saying. You better off just doing something else. You know what I'm saying? Like, I left trucking, I got out of trucking, I went and done something else. I would be done had a 10, 15 year career, but if they changed even an ounce of anything in trucking. I've been in trucking a long time, man. I've known guys been in trucking for 30 years. Ain't nothing changed. Nothing. I talked to guys who used to run a truck in the 70s, run a truck in the 80s, in the 90s. Nothing. It's never gonna change. They're gonna delay, the FMCSA is gonna delay that another 10 months, another 10 months, another 10 months. Just like the doggone budget. They keep kicking the can down the street. The budget, for example, the budget, right? How long we been on the CR? How long we been on the CR? I'll wait. The last time we had a real budget was back in when? Like before Obama was in office. That's the last time we had a budget. We've been on the CR ever since. I'm just making a point here. That's all I'm saying. And so just a little bit of common sense. Don't lose no sleep over this mess. Some of y'all gonna be 60, 65 years old before anything change. I mean, you could, like, you, I know some of y'all got into trucking when y'all was 20. You got into trucking when you was 20, right? You drove for this company, drove for that company, drove for that company, and da 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 da. You made some money, you paid off your house, you sent your kids to college, and then here you are, 65 years old, retired, sitting at the house, and you just shaking your head. I know some of y'all, some old timers, is watching my videos for 30 years. Y'all been in trucking for 30 years, and y'all just shaking your head at the industry. Just shaking your head at the industry. Ain't nothing gonna change. Nothing. And if they do change something, it's always a change against drivers. It's nothing gonna benefit drivers. That's kind of my point. Well, during the Clinton administration, he actually balanced the budget. But I mean actually having a budget pass. And since what, Bush Jr., since then we've been on a CR. We've been on a continuing resolution. We haven't had a budget pass. They raised the debt ceiling, and they sign a continuing resolution. They just keep signing them. That's where we at. So, you know, so that's the end of that. Per diem against drivers. Yeah. You would think they'll increase the per diem rate. That's about the only, that's an indirect way for drivers to receive a tax break, is that drivers get all those deductions. They get to take all those deductions. So the per diem and the we get 80% of per diem. We get to write off 80% of that. So if you're on the road for like 300 something days out the year, you take 300 days, because it's like $67 a day or something like that. $68 a day times $300, 300 days. Or you could do 365 days. It comes out to about 20-some thousand. So you could deduct 20,000 off your income because you're on the road all the time. You're always on the road. You're a traveling business. So when you're traveling for business, you get to write all that stuff off, which is per diem. And so that is an indirect way that the IRS gives truck drivers a tax break, because you're a traveling business. But you know, I would love to see an increase in per diem. I would love to see an increase in the amount that you can deduct on your taxes. You only can do 80%. It'd be nice if they can increase it to 90 or something like that. But they're not worrying about the drivers. So yeah. But anyway, 45 minutes on here. I think that's long enough. I wanted to come and have a little video chat with y'all. I appreciate y'all watching my videos. See y'all next time.